Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Terrifying Tuesday on this channel where we talk about all things horror. And today we have to talk about the Abigail movie. Do our little non-spoiler review. So let's jump right into it. Alright, so I finally got a chance to see the Abigail movie and it was awesome. It really was. It was a bit comical and a bit horror, so it definitely had those vibes and left me feeling a little bit nostalgic for those 80s horror comedies that we all used to love. Fright Night, Vamp, those types of movies really did have a little bit of gore, but then also a lot of comical moments thrown in. And I feel like this movie really sort of leaned into that as well. It stars Melissa Barrera, who you all know from Scream. It also starred Kevin Durant, who actually will be playing in the new Planet of the Apes movie. In fact, he is going to be playing Proximus Caesar, who is kind of one of the main enemies of the movie. Then you have Dan Stevens. And Dan Stevens has two movies that are coming out about the same time this year as well, because he was just in Godzilla X Kong. And he was good in that. So getting to see him in this movie was really exciting because I had just come hot off the heels of seeing that movie not too long ago. Then you have Catherine Newton, who actually should be no stranger to a lot of viewers as well because she played Ant-Man's daughter in the last Ant-Man movie. Then you have the young Alicia Weir, and she plays the title character of Abigail. This film also marks one of the last appearances of Angus Cloud, who played in Euphoria, that little HBO series with Zendaya. He's been gaining a lot of popularity, but then his life tragically ended. So this is one of his last performances as well. Now, the plot is simple, and the trailer kind of gave a lot of this plot away. So if you saw the trailer, you know kind of how this plot goes down. They kidnap a little girl in hopes that her father will give them money. They're working for this organization that wants them to kidnap this little girl. They do it, and they live to regret it. And that's the simple plot for this movie. However, there's a lot more to this movie than meets the eye, because this movie started off its life, as I said in a previous video, being loosely based on the film Dracula's Daughter. Now, this is cool because the film is actually still distributed by Universal Studios. And there is something to be said about that, because for years we were really promised this whole Universal Monsters multiverse type of thing. We were supposed to get a cinematic universe of Universal Monsters that never actually happened. There are a couple other cool things about this movie. This movie doesn't only kind of have Dracula's daughter as sort of that premise, but it also kind of has a connection to another film. So when you're looking at the other film, it should be one that maybe some horror fans have seen, and if not, I'm not going to give away the spoilers here, so be looking for a reference to another film. And no, it's not any of the Universal Monsters movies that get referenced here. There are some sort of nods to that a little bit, but they're all very much sort of quieted down. Now, the acting in this film is really good. I think all of them do a nice job. It sort of plays into the tropes of different movies though, with each character sort of being the perfect representation of an actual trope. Here that works because while it's playing into the tropes, it also makes sure that you are caring about each one of these characters. Melissa Barrera's character is, of course, the main lead character next to Abigail. She's the one we get to spend most of our time with during this movie. And because of that, she has to be the most sympathetic character, and Melissa Barrera really does make this work. Her performance alone is very much worth the price of admission. If you are a fan of hers from the Scream movies, then you are going to absolutely want to see this. Now, I said that this movie is a bit of a comedy horror film, so there is a lot of humor, but it also has enough bloodshed in this movie to satisfy the gorehounds. And it really does deliver on that gore. And I was worried going into this movie. I saw how bloody the trailer was, but I kind of wondered if that was going to be it. But oh no, they deliver on the gore throughout the movie, so they don't really let you up. This movie very much is a tribute to some of those 80s comedy horror movies that we saw. However, it is much more bloody than they were. That's not a bad thing at all, because this film needed to be very bloody and violent, and it needed to work. But I like the fact that they added humor in all the right places. So you could do a lot worse than to see this movie. You definitely should check it out. This is very much in the vein of the types of movies I like. I really do enjoy vampire movies. And if you enjoy vampire movies too, this one is right up there. This one, I think, is destined to sort of become a classic itself. It doesn't really follow the events of the movie that sort of influenced it. It takes itself in a whole new direction, and it needed to do that. It is brilliant from start to finish. We get to meet these characters and follow them through the movie, and we really do feel for them in all the right places. And when something happens, and a lot of things do happen that we can't talk about here, you find yourself being dragged along for this really wild ride. So I give this movie 4 out of 5 stars. And the only reason it doesn't get 5 is that you have to be a really extraordinary movie for me to outright give you 5 stars. But I do think that this movie is pretty close to that. This movie is almost one of those movies that you need to consider seeing. I've heard a lot of people talk about how cheesy it is, and it's not really all that cheesy. It tends to be a little cheesy when it needs to, but that adds to its charm. This movie is one that you can watch over and over again. But that's where I'm going to leave it off to you guys, so go ahead and let me know what you think. As always, we want to know what you guys think. Make sure you're sharing this video with all of your friends. They're going to want to be a part of the conversation as well. So don't forget to hit that like button. It's free. It helps the channel. We appreciate it. Miko says we need more subscribers. You don't want to disappoint Miko. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell while you're down there so you don't miss a single video we do. And friends, at the end of the day, I know it, you know it, and Miko knows it. Fandom is family.